Must have been fun.
Yeah.
What did you do for the birthday party?
Mm, we ate lunch and go um, music room.
You went to what room?
Music.
Ah, singing room.
Yes, singing room.
Yes. I used to always go to the singing rooms when I lived in Korea.
Yes.
Lots of fun, right?
Yes.
Ah. Sounds like you had a good weekend then.
Yes.
Okay. So, do you remember what we were working on last week?
Uh, we read the stories seedless vascular plant and non-vascular plant.
Yes, we were reading about the plants without seeds. And I think since it was kind of a confusing story that it would be good if we read it again and reviewed the story.
Okay.
Sound good? Okay.
Yes.
So we remember story was plants without seeds.
Yes.
What kind of plants don't have seeds?
Mm, Moses
Mm-hmm.
mm, and ferns.
Mosses and ferns. Yes. Now, there were two types of plants without seeds, right?
Yes.
Yes. Do you remember what are the two types?
Vascular plant and non-vascular plant.
Yes, exactly. Vascular plants and non-vascular plants. How are they different?
Uh, Vascular plants had vascular tissues, but non-vascular plants don't have vascular tissues.
Yeah. What's vascular tissue? What does that mean?
Uh, a plant can grow with vascular tissues.
Oh, vascular tissue? It's kind of like the circulation system in our body.
Yes.
So what is one big difference like in how they look? Vascular plants and non-vascular plants.
Vascular plant is big, but non-vascular plant is small.
Yes, exactly. The vascular plants, because they have this circulation system, they can grow big and tall.
Yes.
But non-vascular plants do not grow big and tall.
Yes.
Okay?
Okay.
How about let's review the vocabulary on page 65.
Okay. Um,
Yep. Can you read the definition and give me the correct word?
a plant that has tissues that carry food and nutrition.
Nutrients.
A nutrient.
Good.
Vascular plant.
Yep, a vascular plant.
A plant that lack tissues that carry food and nutrition. Nutrient.
Nutrients.
Nutrient.
Good.
Non-vascular plant.
Yep, a non-vascular plant.
A type of leaf that a fern has. Frond.
Mm-hmm, a frond.
The part of a fern or a moss that lets it reproduce. Spore.
Mm-hmm, spores.
Reproduction without male or female part. Asexual reproduction.
Yes, Exactly. Great. So these are a little confusing words, maybe. What's a spore?
Like Moses seed.
Yeah, it's similar because these plants don't have seeds.
Yes.
They have, instead of seeds, they have spores.
Yes.
So in the picture on page 65, do you see spores?
Yes.
Yes. What do they look like?
Very tiny circles.
Yes, they just look like, they look like red dots to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what about frond? That's another word that you don't hear much. What's a frond?
The leaves, like the fronds leaves.
The leaves of a fern. So do you see any fronds in the picture?
The big picture in title.
In the big picture?
Yes.
Yeah. As those are pictures of ferns. Yes. And the fern leaves are the fronds.
Yes.
Good. So, great. We can move on to our story.
Yes.
Okay. On page 66 and 67.
Yes.
Okay. Now, do you want to read first or should I?
I will read the second.
Okay. Most plants reproduce with seeds, but not all of them do. Some reproduce without using seeds. We can divide these seedless plants into two groups: seedless vascular plants and seedless non-vascular plants.
Vascular plants have vascular tissues that are made of tube-like cells.
What are angiosperms and gymnosperms?
Angiosperm has flower, and gymnosperm has no flower or fruit.
But what does a gymnosperm have instead of flowers?
They have cones.
Yes, exactly. Angiosperms are flowering plants and gymnosperms have cones. What makes these plants different than the seedless plants?
They have seeds.
Yes. Angiosperms and gymnosperms have seeds.
Yes.
But the seedless plants have no seeds. So what is an example of a non-vascular seedless plant?
Mosses.
Mosses. How do you know that mosses are non-vascular?
They don't have vascular tissues.
Well, yes, they don't have vascular tissue, but how do you know that?
They can grow big.
They don't grow big, right?
Yes.
Yes. Because they do not have vascular tissue, they grow close to the ground,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And what is an example of a seedless vascular plant?
The ferns.
Ferns. How do you know that ferns are vascular?
They can grow tall and thick.
They can grow tall. In this sentence, it says that these are very old plants that once thrived millions of years ago. What does that mean, thrived?
They grew in millions of years ago.
It means close. It means that they were really common millions of years ago.
Yes.
That much more common than they are today.
Yes.
Okay?
Okay.
Both mosses and ferns reproduce without seeds. They use spores to make new plants, so their life cycles are alike. Both mosses and ferns have two separate stages in their life cycles.
Let's look at the life cycle of mosses. In the first stage, mosses produce spores asexually. When a spore case opens, spores are released. Spores that land on damp ground grow into new plants. This stage is called asexual reproduction. As mosses develop, they have male branches and female branches. The male branches produce sperm and the female branches produce eggs. When there is enough moisture, the sperm cells move to the egg and fertilize them. Each fertilized egg produces a stalk that develops a capsule called a spore case, which is filled with spores. This second stage is called sexual reproduction. The life cycle of ferns is very similar to that of mosses.
Good. So all seedless plants have the same life cycle. How many stages are there to the life cycle?
6.
6? You're just counting the picture. There are actually 2 stages.
Yeah.
The 2 stages are asexual reproduction and sexual reproduction.
Yeah.
So, we know that these plants have no seeds, right?
Yes.
So they do not reproduce the same way as the angiosperms and gymnosperms.
Yes.
How do they reproduce?
They reproduce by spores.
By spores. What happens to the spores?
When spore case open, spores released, and they go to the land and grow to a new plant.
Yeah, exactly. The spores fall to the ground and new plants grow. And that is the asexual reproduction stage.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
Next is the sexual reproduction stage. What happens then?
There are male branches and female branches. So the male branches produce sperm and female branches produce eggs.
Mm-hmm.
And the sperm cells move to eggs and fertilized, and they become to capsule, and thus it go to ground.
Yeah. This stage is similar to the plants with seeds,
Yes.
because here there's a male branch and a female branch. And the male branch fertilizes the female branch to grow, to continue growing.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yes? Okay. Do you have questions about this story?
No.
No? No questions?
Yes.
Okay. Let's go over those 3 true-false questions.
The most common seedless non-vascular plants are ferns. First,
False. Yes. Why is it false?
the most common seedless non-vascular plants are mosses.
Mm-hmm. Yep, mosses. Are ferns non-vascular?
No.
No, yes. The ferns are vascular plants. Good. Okay, you read number 2.
Ferns have been on the earth for millions of years. True.
True. That is true. Good. Number 3.
Mosses and ferns reproduce without the use of seeds. True.
True. Yes. Yes. They are seedless plants, so they reproduce without seeds. What about the angiosperms and gymnosperms? How do they reproduce?
They reproduce with seeds.
With seeds, exactly. Great. So what do you think of this story?
Little hard to
Little,
understand.
a little hard to understand. Yeah. So there is some challenging vocabulary, but I think you did a good job reading the story and understanding it. Is there anything else that is confusing in the story?
No.
No? Okay, good. So let's move on to the question page, page 68.
Okay. What does prevent means?
In the sentence, this lack of veins prevents non-vascular plants from growing very large. What does prevents mean?
A.
A, stops. Good. Yeah. Because the non-vascular plants have no veins, they don't grow tall. Good.
Yeah. Answer the questions. A. What kinds of plants are vascular plants? Or angiosperm and gymnosperm.
Angiosperms and gymnosperms. But what else?
Ferns.
And ferns. Basically, any plant that grows big and tall.
Yes.
Yeah. So, like, what about just trees? Are trees vascular or non-vascular?
Vascular plant.
Yeah. How do you know that they are vascular?
Tree can grow tall.
Because the trees can grow tall. Good.
B. Why can ferns grow bit tall? Because they have vascular tissues to be tall.
Exactly. Ferns grow tall because they have vascular tissues. Great.
What do mosses use to reproduce? They use spores.
They use spores. Yep. What kind of reproduction do they use spores for?
Sexual reproduction.
Yeah, well, asexual.
Yeah.
Yes. Because they don't have seeds, they use asexual reproduction.
Yeah.
Whereas what kind of reproduction do the plants with seeds use?
Sexual reproduction.
Sexual reproduction, because there's a male part and a female part.
Yes.
Yep. Great. I think we'll stop there in the book. Can you do question 6 and the vocabulary review for homework?
Okay.
Okay, and we'll check it on Friday.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
Do you have any more questions about this story?
No.
No? Okay. Well, it was great talking to you, Bo-yoon, and I will see you on Friday.
Okay.
Okay. Bye.